Ernest runs for president.
We're Not Critics is sponsored by Squarespace. Just kidding. We don't have any sponsors. No, we're sponsored by Sheets and Giggles sheets and a mattress that we bought. No, actually, we're sponsored by Panda Express and this comically large lemonade that I got after we worked out.
And also 8-bit stickers. Go check that out.
Yes, 8-bit stickers by Christian Thompson, AJ's friend. Where are you going? Where are you going? Okay. No. I don't know how to do this on my own. Okay, so AJ just ran off and he's going to get something. So we're talking about Ernest Scared Stupid, one of the Ernest P. Worrell movies. I remember
Documentary.
Ernest. Yeah, okay, but I remember...
Documentary of a man known as the Great Redneck Hope.
Yes, we'll get to that later. So...
This is just an example of...
Grab the Garfield.
Really... Your Garfield's here?
Yeah, my Garfield's up here. Can you?
This is so unstructured today.
Oh. Pull down. Yeah. Okay. So talk about your friend.
Sorry, Christian, that we're doing such a bad job of this, but we want to shout you out.
Yeah, check out this sticker. It's Garfield on a pot leaf.
Well, so Christian's very creative, and he loves to do little interesting mashups of culturally significant things, like nerdy stuff and pothead stuff now, I guess. And like the little cute Boo Man or whatever from Mario as
Squid Game.
So
that's what those are?
Yeah.
I just thought they were the Squid Game guys.
What? Half.
So where can they get Christian's awesome stickers?
It's called 8-bit stickers. I will put a link in the thing on the video. Go check it out.
So anyway, before AJ ran off to get his sticker, we're talking about Ernest Scared Stupid, which is in the line of the many Ernest movies, but I remember Ernest from when I was a kid, and he had a Saturday morning show on for one season in 1998 called Hey Vern, It's Ernest.
Entering sweepstakes and contests. What a hobby. I've entered every sweepstake and contest known to man. And look, I've already won the amazing blinking skull, the very festive musical coffee maker, and be still my heart, the decorative rubber spider. He reminds me of my son Jaime, only stockier. Dance. Festive.
And he would talk to the camera the whole time. Like, I guess he would talk to Vern, know what I mean?
Did they break up? Is that why Vern is not in the movies?
After he trashed
but he goes to visit him?
After he trashed his house in Ernest Saves Christmas? Maybe, but that's why we're doing a little cosplay today with our gray shirts and our vests and our baseball caps. What did you say?
This is a work hat, damn it.
Okay. Ernest has the face of John Cena and the body of your uncle?
Yeah.
So you need to explain that.
Or Goofy. You know, that works too. He's basically Goofy. But he looks like John Cena. He's got that jaw. I don't know. He looks like my uncle. He dresses like my uncle.
Yeah.
I hope my uncle does not take that in offense.
No, every time I've seen his uncle, he has like a chambray, kind of a denim button-down shirt and jeans.
And a jean jacket.
Yeah, and a jean jacket.
That's
like
probably
Ernest.
like older than me. But anyway, well, not that old, but pretty old.
Okay.
So yeah, this is a nostalgic one for me.
I never saw any of the Ernest movies. I saw the TV show, and I liked him. I have fond memories of it, but I never watched the movies.
90 Kids, UPN, and all those other shitty secondhand channels. Ernest Scared Stupid was awesome. It was the shit.
But it's not my favorite of the 3 Ernest movies I've seen so far. So I just started watching them. We watched Ernest Goes to Jail several months ago, and then at Christmas we watched Ernest Saves Christmas, which I really liked. I liked Ernest Goes to Jail because I realized this as we were watching Ernest Scared Stupid. There's not like a B story about the kids in it. Mm-mm. It's just Ernest and his kind of hot counterpart in jail. That guy's kind of sexy. Like, what's up, Jim Varney, with your amazing teeth?
But
yeah,
smoke 3 packs a day.
Yeah, he was kind of hot as that criminal. So yeah, it was more of an adult story in Ernest Goes to Jail, and then in Ernest Saves Christmas.
Yeah, it was very adult with him hanging off the roof with like a
the floor
wax thing.
Well, I'm talking more about his evil twin in
being
jail.
electrocuted and shit.
Yeah, but anyway. So this starts out like any Ernest movie where there's some kind of crazy contraption. That makes me so anxious. He's got like a dump truck and he gets stuck in it and...
No, don't stick my head in those gears. It's me or you. And I have a family at the doll factory. I'll send him a nice card. You'll never get away with this, Ernest. I know where you live.
He's not a very earnest person.
No, and is this the importance of being earnest? Mm-hmm. So, no, I think he is a very earnest person.
Well, he is, but he's also very silly. I enjoy I wish he would have gotten a better career. Or Jim Varney.
Because he really... he preceded Jim Carrey in being...
the cartoon.
The rubber-faced cartoon guy.
Yeah. There are a few people that do it. Bryan Cranston has a little bit of it, but not as much as, obviously, Jim Carrey and Jim Varney. Is it a Jim thing?
Maybe it's a Jim thing. I don't know. So the way it starts out is way back in the day, hundreds of years ago, when they were probably doing witch burnings, Ernest had an ancestor that banished a demon troll into the earth, and the troll said... We just watched the It's Always Sunny Day Man, Night Man episode last night, so I'm just thinking of Danny DeVito as a troll. So anyway...
It kind of looks like that.
Yeah, it did kind of look like him. So the troll puts a curse on him, and he said, your descendants are going to get dumber and dumber as the years go by, and one day one of them will let me out of this tree that I'm imprisoned in.
That's such a weird curse.
That is kind of a funny curse. You're going to have descendants, and they'll live for a long time, but they're going to get dumber and dumber and dumber.
I don't know. I don't think they did live for a long time. Because Ernest is the great-great-grandson of this guy. And Eartha Kitt was a little kid when it happened, but she's still alive.
I thought she kind of had some witch magic.
That's a little bit of that, but still, he must have had... they must have all been dying at 40, but having kids at 16 or something.
Probably. They probably died in the most fantastic Darwin Awards ways. Yeah.
To think that Ernest's father was just a smarter version of him.
Yeah. So anyway, turns out he drives a dump truck for the city, and the sheriff is his boss. I'm not quite sure how this municipality works.
It doesn't particularly matter.
But he's always getting in trouble, and he's hanging out. The kids all love him, which I don't know if I were a parent. I don't know if I would let my child hang out with Ernest.
I mean...
He's perfectly harmless.
Yeah,
but
I think
still.
you can tell. He's fine.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let them go hang out with a grown-ass man.
No, because he got stuck inside a dump truck and almost got crushed to death.
He did. He just didn't die.
Yeah.
Which is why he's goofy.
Yeah, he really is. Goofy isn't goofy. So, also, they tell him to go check out this house of this lady who's a crazy garbage hoarder, and it's Eartha Kitt. And she's everything you can imagine Eartha Kitt would be.
She came to play.
Off of my property! What are you doing here?
Ma'am, I'm just here to pick up all this garbage.
Got no garbage here. Only the expressions of the soul.
Ma'am, I'm an official representative of the Briarville city government and incidentally a close personal friend of Mayor Murdoch's.
Aren't you that Warrill kid?
Yes, ma'am.
You will bring down the curse on us all. Woe to you, or you see the Worrell. Get out of here and don't come back.
Yeah, it's you don't have to take it this seriously. It's an Ernest movie.
She took it this seriously, but also did whatever the fuck she wanted.
She was basically her character in...
She's this the whole time, and she's...
Basically her character in The Emperor's New Groove, but not bad. She's not an evil character. She's kind of the one who tries to warn the town that
insane.
There's a curse. Yeah, she's a crazy old lady. She's got a bunch of metal garbage in her yard, and she warns them, keeps warning them, something bad is happening.
On a night 3 days hence,
Something
there
like
would be a thing that shoots the moon and opens a troll or something.
Oh, yeah, and the thing they do with Ernest in this movie is a montage of all his characters. So the little boy is kind of having problems at school, and he goes over to talk to Ernest, who starts talking about the Ottoman Empire. And he goes through the history of like a big war battle that they had, and he does all his characters, like the really salty old lady with the neck brace, and she's my favorite,
and the prissy old lady that's like,
oh my stars, someone smell fish? What's going on here? Like, and I didn't see that in Ernest Goes to Jail. He plays the old lady when he's trying to trick somebody, but I've never just like, all this is happening in Ernest's head. So I thought, does he have?
The kid calls him out on it.
Yeah, he says, oh great, the multiple personalities are kind of like, oh, are we mental illness shaming Ernest here?
I mean, it gives him his power.
Maybe so.
Much like Kevin.
Does my anxiety give me superpowers?
Kevin Wendell Crumb and Ernest team up.
Yes, Wendell, God, I can't even say it.
Kevin
Wendell Crumb from Split. James McAvoy and Ernest need to hang out. Like, that old lady would school Miss Patricia.
Oh, God.
She would slap Dennis across the face.
She would, like, insult her hair that isn't actually there.
Yeah. So yeah, there's this whole montage of characters the way he's telling the story, which is hilarious, but it's also kind of out of nowhere. And it happens once again at the end when they're fighting all of the evil characters. So it's really funny, but it's also like, what? So I want to watch the rest of the Ernest movies to see if they keep that up, because this one came after Ernest Goes to Jail and Ernest Saves Christmas, I think. And so the theme is he teams up with the kids and they're fighting this evil force. And I thought, in an alternate universe, he would hang out with the Losers Club in it. And he's an adult, so he'd have to like die bravely trying to defend them.
He would definitely die.
He would die, but he would die bravely.
Yeah. Okay, so
anyway.
Let's get to the villain.
Okay, but there are some really good one-liners in this movie. So they're going out to the forest, and there was something about being cursed or something going through the trees, and he's like, the worst we could get is Dutch elm, and none of us are Dutch. So if you pay attention to his one-liners, they're hysterical. It's really funny.
There are a lot of good throwaway jokes that are just mixed in. So, they don't even stop to like give you time to notice.
No, it's really quick. So they build a tree house in the biggest, gnarliest looking tree, and that awakens the troll. And so, of course, Eartha Kitt is aware that this is going to happen, and she tries to warn people, and no one listens to her. And so she gets Ernest, and she kind of builds him up. She says, you will be the great redneck hope. And that killed us. We had to stop and laugh so much. He was like, yes, the great redneck hope. Vern, what do you think about that?
I didn't think he would catch on to that. Like, that would be his thing. Because she said, like, 3 or 4 different things. You're the 7th son of the 7th son. And da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ernest has 6 brothers.
And 6 uncles.
I want to see the family reunion.
Oh my god, he could play all those characters too.
So yeah, he 7 sons, the great redneck hope.
Yes, because the troll has to he puts like a curse on children and turns them into wooden dolls, and if he gets 5 of them, these pods sink into the ground and more trolls come out. So
like
it's kind
Critters
of like, or Gremlins, sort of.
Well, you never saw Critters, but
we're sort of self-multiplying.
It's Critters. They look like critter pods. Like, we have to find that movie. So the actual troll is, considering this is a low-budget shit movie, like, it's fun, but it's just a dumb Ernest movie. I think that they did really good with the troll. They
really did. He looks pretty scary,
and he's pretty mobile. Like, you know how a lot of animatronics and like facial stuff, they're just stuck with like that face the whole time. He looks freaky. He's disgusting because he's like
a snot coming out of his.
He's gooey all the time. It's kind of like Jeepers Creepers 2. I remember them saying in the props that, like, we tried to make him look almost like wet in this one, where the first one he was very dry,
like mucus coming off.
Yeah,
him.
It's like that's.
Yeah, so I mean, if that thing came after me,
and he's legitimately scary. Like, they have scary scenes in this kid's Ernest movie.
Yeah, like, and he gets, like, some people don't get away. Even the dog gets turned into a wooden doll. And at one point, this kid jumps the fence. I'm like, oh, thank God he's safe. That little troll isn't going to crash. And he just crashes like a linebacker. This guy crashes through the fence.
That was my favorite part. Not even of the movie, but like the experience of watching it. Melanie's talking shit, and this dude just fucking barrels through. Doesn't stop for a second. And something about the way they edit it makes it so funny.
It is.
Because they're like, yeah, is he gonna pole vault? And then he just, like, slams. And his weird, like, it's almost like Leprechaun, like, he uses people's voices and stuff. That was always freaky.
That was legitimately creepy.
Because
he's like, Kevin, I'm over here. And it's the troll.
Yeah, and it's weird that, like, we know that it's not the kid that he's using the voice of, and that's why it was scary, which is an interesting tactic.
It's still it's really unsettling. And then they show him using the voice, and that was really unsettling. So anyway, Ernest is trying to warn people. The kids are trying to warn people. Of course, no one believes them. So there's kind of climax 1 is when there's a Halloween party in town and the troll crashes it and just starts, like, attacking people.
I did appreciate that he took out the bully kid just because he was being a dick.
Yes.
Like, he's just standing in line with all the kids, like, just waiting. And some kid is an asshole right next to him. He's like, fuck you.
Turns him into wood. Yeah, that was nice seeing the bully get his comeuppance. And so we've discovered throughout the movie that if you pour milk on them, it kills him.
Well,
sort of.
It makes him weak. He hasn't... Eventually he makes, like, clones, sort of, and they can die.
Yeah,
he has minions.
But at the party, people all of a sudden are like, oh gosh, Ernest, we believe you. So the kids go get super soakers and fill them with milk, and the adults are like, we're going to kick this troll's ass, and they all go to the forest.
Murderous.
Yes, he does, because he turns his dog into a little wooden puppy. He's like, somebody with a runny nose is going to die tonight. And he said it with a straight face. There was no joke. There was no know what I mean after that. It was just...
I wish he had gotten a moment to keep that aggression.
I wish he'd had a shotgun just for that moment after that.
Because
full of milk.
Oh, God. Yeah, he doesn't keep that aggression when it actually comes to it, but it was just weird to see him that bloodthirsty. Like,
yeah.
Ugh.
So they all go to the forest, to the tree, and at this point the pods are sinking into the ground, and they're turning into other trolls.
Like, they kind of look like second grade characters on the Power Rangers.
Or
like, they're not as good.
Or Labyrinth.
Or that.
Kind of.
But they're not as good, which is fine. They're there to die. And they're weird. They, like, eat bullets and shoot them out of their mouths.
Yeah,
and
that was
shit,
messed up.
Like, very aggressive things.
They are very aggressive. So there's a big battle scene, and of course no one dies. But there is peril. And Ernest is trying to...
Well, except with Ernest.
Yeah, well...
running around the tree and getting them to...
Oh, that was funny.
Bang into each other.
There is a lot of funny physical comedy when this is happening, but at the end, Eartha Kitt remembers there was kind of this poem or something saying how to defeat it. She says, with the heart of a child, with unconditional love. And the way she figures out the unconditional love is so weird. Because when she's going to the Halloween party, there's this little girl and her mom, and the mom is just like...
You wanted to be in the costume competition, and this is the costume you picked out at the store.
This thing looks silly and I'm not gonna wear it.
Don't you talk back to me. Now you march right in there.
I hate you!
Well, I'm not too fond of you either.
Mommy! I'm sorry. I love you.
I love you too.
But she says it like there's been a 30-minute conversation.
Yeah.
And she's begging for forgiveness. I'm sorry! Like, you just...
And then Eartha Kitt's like, unconditional love. Like, how did you get that from that conversation?
The heart of a child. What if it's literally like, you need to cut a kid's heart out?
You need the heart of a child.
And
but
throw it at the troll or something.
To get unconditional love from that poorly played moment, that
like
could have been
dog? Yeah, like a dog I get, but a kid?
But anyway, so she tells Ernest, and he realizes he's got the troll in his hands, and everybody's like, kill it, kill it, kill it. And he picks him up, he's like, you're the cutest thing I've ever seen. Plants a big kiss on him, dances around with him. I love you so much, and then boom, he explodes. So he showed the troll unconditional love, which was kind of, it was kind of nice. Like, I get they were trying to do, like, everybody wants to kill it, and Ernest shows it some compassion in order to kill it.
Yeah, it's a very... Like, there could have been a couple of different things to finish this. After that, maybe he doesn't die, like he turns good and he heals all the kids, and now he's just a dude in town.
Yeah, it's a control. What's up?
Now
Hey, Gary.
now he has to get a job and shit. You could write a whole movie about that. Him learning how W-2s work.
The troll pays taxes.
Or, okay, why did he die? Is it like, can he physically not handle the compassion? Or
Maybe.
was it like he's so repellent of it that he bombed himself, kind of?
Like he couldn't handle the human emotion of love.
Like the house in Treehouse of Horrors, where the Simpsons are like, you're gonna deal with us, we're gonna live inside you, and that's that. And it's like...
Oh, it just collapses in on itself. Okay, so that's Ernest Scared Stupid. I liked it. I mean, if it comes around, if it's available on Halloween, then...
It's
Yeah,
kind of
I'll
like
watch it.
Hubie Halloween. Like,
It kind of is, because it's like the weird, eccentric man-child in town who some people make fun of, some people are nice to, but he warns them that something bad is happening, and then by the end they all love him. So I guess I've got a couple of recommendations. Hubie Halloween would be one with Adam Sandler. I can't remember his name. Okay, the first story in the Ballad of Buster Scruggs by the Coen brothers.
Yes. And that movie so infuriating.
We watched that recently, and we didn't realize it was going to be all these vignettes.
No.
Because at the beginning, Buster Scruggs is awesome, and as we were watching, I'm like, this guy's like Ernest.
2 minutes in, I was like, oh my god, this is Jim Varney. This is Ernest. I know the guy. I appreciate that what he did. The actual actor. I can't remember his name. I don't care. But this would have been made for Jim Varney if he was still alive. Like, the way he spoke, the way he acted, the way he seemed invincible at times.
Except for the end of his
All
story.
earnestness, top to bottom. And then it was over so quick. You don't have to watch the rest of the movie unless you like watching stories that are only there to go like, hey, we came up with something kind of fucked up.
I mean, sometimes I'm down for that.
But it was like, it's actually kind of infuriating. Like, it kept my attention the entire time. And then by the end, I was like, why? Why'd I watch 5 of these?
So just the beginning of Buster Scruggs. I've got more. The Emperor's New Groove for Eartha Kitt and all her Eartha Kittness. And then finally, the Ernest TV show. I'm sure you can find YouTube clips. I didn't realize it was only one season, but I distinctly remember watching it and enjoying it when it was on Saturday morning. So those are the recommendations I have. Do you have any recommendations?
I'm in the nostalgia mode, so Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
Go back and watch.
You mentioned Bryan Cranston.
Bryan
earlier.
Cranston has a similar cartoony nature to him at times when he's doing comedy. Like, he's pretty physical in his comedy too, but he has to be a little more grounded than like Ernest or Jim Carrey talking out of his own ass. So so it's never to that extent, but it's still really good. It holds up. And
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston's the shit. So that's my weird random recommendation because we're burning through it. Because I made Melanie watch Ernest Scared Stupid, and then I started making her watch Malcolm in the Middle. So there's the tie-in.
Yes. And then also, when we watched this, we thought, wouldn't it be funny if there was like Ernest Goes to Heaven? We were thinking of all these other, because it's always Ernest goes to camp, Ernest goes to school. And I thought, what if there's one where Ernest dies and he goes to heaven and somehow he messes it up and has to fight the devil or something? And so we were thinking, okay, Ernest goes to Vegas. I think you said Ernest goes to the Olympics.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that
Ernest
shit.
goes to Home Depot.
Ernest runs for president.
Yes. Yes.
Like,
We need to resurrect Jim Varney and make these movies happen.
yeah, man, he's like one of those actors that I hate that they died. Or it always sucks, but like I feel like he could have done a lot more.
He could have done so much more. So to end on that sad note, in memory of Jim Varney, you can find us on Discord, Twitch, YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes, and we're on Instagram at We're Not Critics.
And I think I want to do a Bollywood movie next.
Yes,
So-
we've got a couple of people who are watching us. So thank you guys in the comments for giving us all those recommendations. I'd like to do a full episode on RRR.
Yeah.
Because that movie is so much fun, and I think that's a good... If Westerners haven't seen Bollywood movies yet, then that could be an entree into it.
I don't know.
That wasn't my
That might be like...
Too extreme?
It's
I
like,
don't know.
not too extreme. It's like watching the best one you could find off the bat. Like, you kind of want to build up to the best.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Even though we know it's technically Tollywood, so we'll talk about that in a different episode. But anyway, that's what's coming next.
So
find us on all the things. Know what I mean?